Hey everybody, it's Kristen Harbor here, and I am going to chat with you about the evolution of Jared and Sugar while I'm sitting in line for carpool. So if you don't see me looking at you, it's because I have to look around and make sure that nobody's moving, because you never want to be that mom that's like on her phone or in this case talking to you when everybody else is like waiting for you to go. So, okay, Jared and Sugar. I think one of the most interesting things about the two of them, like as a couple, is the fact that nobody really liked them. And I think that like when you first find out that book 3, Weston's Chase, is about them, and that was kind of by design, because Sugar in Winter's Heat was set up to be like the villain, kind of. She was one of, there's more than one bad guy, but she was kind of a bad guy. If you think about everything that, Cash is saying to Colby and kind of like what the offers on the table were. And she doesn't come off very much like a romance heroine at first. And I should probably, let's go ahead and tag this as like a spoiler talk. Okay, are we clear? Spoiler talk. I'm going to say something spoilerific about Sugar going back to Garrison's Creed. So if you haven't read Garrison's Creed, read Garrison's Creed. But this is for people who have read it. Okay, so I'm assuming you're still with me. If you're still with me, you've read Garrison's Creed. Okay, like she was very much kind of like the bad girl, like a bad girl who was like super sexy and interesting and kind of exotic almost to Jared, even though she wasn't really exotic. Just, she just had that kind of, she was something very different for him. And until you find out in Garrison's Creed when she like hog ties the mafia boys to the ground and she becomes super duper uber awesome, and you learn that she's not like that, she's been undercover and all that good stuff. Like that is the first glance of when Sugar can be a good person, or a good girl. Good person, good girl, good whatever. And that's really debatable, because there's a lot of I think reading personality that comes down to that. Like, you may not care that Sugar wasn't the most perfect, kind of well-rounded, in everyday society type person. I was like, I have to drive. But some people really do, and they're like, she's not, because she's not relatable. She didn't come off as relatable to a lot of people. Until you see her on the side of a mountain with, and I guess if you've read Garrison's Creed, you've probably read Weston's Chase. Anyway, maybe this is a spoiler. Not really a spoiler for Weston's Chase. I don't know. If you haven't read Weston's Chase, listen with care. But until she's on the side of that mountain in Afghanistan with Azel, like, you don't see that side of her at all. And it's not that it wasn't there, but we were never in her point of view. And so you never really got to know who the real Sugar was. And that was when I get a lot of messages about that scene. And like, I hated Sugar until that until that scene when, you know, you learn that she had a soul, or that she had feelings, or whatever it is that you learned, or whatever, however she resonated with you. Like, that's a lot of where, that's where a lot of people find that they actually like Sugar. Not even just they don't dislike her, but they like her. And that is, that's a really important scene for a lot of reasons. And I know, like, don't feel bad when you tell me you didn't like Sugar up to that point. As a matter of fact, it is like a compliment, because she was written to be a bad person, and that specific scene was written so that you start to like her. Anytime that there's a character that's trying to sleep with another character who's like taken, whether or not Winters and Mia were like at that exact moment, you can just kind of assume that she was there to be the bad guy. So I know that, and you never have to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't like her until that point. Like, you really shouldn't have really liked her all that much. I mean, she was kind of awesome. I like that she was one of the few people that could make Cash squirm. Okay, so Jared. Same thing with Jared. There are a couple different parts in that book, in Weston's Chase, where people have told me that they started to like him. Like you either liked him from the get-go, or you didn't like him until he like jumped on Sugar and like took her down on that mountain, or when he's like still trying to act like he's all caring about all ATF agents the way he does Sugar, but he's in the war room and he says something like, "We left her on the side of a mountain in Afghanistan. Are you joking me?" Except his language was probably more colorful than that. That's when people started to like him. Because you either loved Boss Man's attitude from like page 10 or 15 or whenever he showed up in Winter's Heat. You either loved that about him, or like you immensely did not. And his character is written to be polarizing and a little bit of a jackass. Okay, so the other thing about Jared and Sugar is that as the books have progressed, say to wave to the girl. Hi, thanks. As the books progress, as like every title has gone on, and Delta series has come and unwrapped, Jared and Sugar's relationship has matured. Like, they've grown up a whole bunch, and so it's interesting to write them from new perspectives, like when they're parents. Jared as a parent and Sugar as a parent do drastically different things than they would in Winter's Heat. So sometimes I'll have somebody ask, you know, like, oh, that doesn't seem like the Sugar of Weston, or of Winter's Heat, or of Weston's Chase, after they just read, what book was it when they were in Vegas? Jax, when they just read Jax. And the answer is kind of like, good. If they were, like, are you the same person you were 5 or 6 years ago? Like, if you just had kids, are you that same person? I'm not. And I think that it's a testament to the characters in the series that they've grown up. And I kind of get nostalgic for Bachelor Jared. But you know what else wouldn't have come if Bachelor Jared disappeared? All of his worldly advice. Have you ever noticed that Jared likes to drop love bombs? Of course he does, right? The master of the universe, as soon as he falls in love and gets married, all of a sudden he's like spouting advice on love. He's got an opinion. He's like sitting people down. He's like, let me tell you about the ways of the world. Let me tell you the ways to a woman's heart. Oh, Jared. Okay. Yeah, so they've grown up. And they act a little older. They get a little wild, a little bit different. They have, you know, their weekends when they're without kids and they go and they party, but then, you know, they have to figure out things like babysitters and maybe nannies or whatever. And I know that that's not a conversation that happens a lot in the book, but you kind of just have to assume that it is. All right, it's time for me to pick up my kiddo. So I will talk to you later. Bye.